back with more Buffy. This is episode 19 of season 7. Very excited as always to carry on, see what's going to be happening next as we delve into the final 4 episodes? Yeah. My god. And given how things went in the last episode, Nathan Fillion arriving, Faith coming back, Xander losing his eye, not an ideal situation, a couple of potentials being killed. Things aren't looking great, and I'm hoping this is kind of, you know, if things get worse before they get better kind of deal. Unless the show ends on a very bleak note, which again, I wouldn't put past it, so I guess we'll have to wait and see what's going to be happening next. Before we get into the episode and the reaction, all that, I think, you know, it would feel wrong for me to probably not address all the stuff that's come out in the last few days, you know, regarding Buffyverse actresses and everything. So yeah, they have my, you know, 100% support and admiration for being brave enough to come forward, share these stories, etc. about, you know, all the abuse and the horrible stuff that they went through while working on these shows. It really is awful, and it feels almost wrong to kind of come back to this and actually approach this and try and make a light-hearted, fun reaction video, knowing what may have been going on. So it's odd in that sense, but also I think the view I'm going to choose to focus on is that, you know, the stories and the characters and this world that we all love very dearly, I think all those things are bigger than any one individual, I would say. So that's kind of the approach I'm going to just take as we continue on finishing off Buffy and obviously into the final season of Angel as well. You know, in terms of other like behind the scenes material and stuff, I think may be affected differently depending on who is in it, etc. But we can cross that bridge when we get to it, really. So yes, either way, that aside, obviously it's awful to kind of see and hear about what some of those actresses went through. We probably don't even know the half of it, sadly, but you know, very brave of them to come forward, and 100% behind them all the way. And with that being said, let's carry on and see what's going to be happening next. People finally had enough. Screw this place.
We've seen some bad stuff in this town before, but you know, this time it's like it just seems different, more powerful. I don't think anyone's going to be able to
more
stop
final, perhaps?
Maybe you should just get out of town this time.
Yeah, probably should.
But she's not going to.
You take care of yourself.
She's a duty. Oh, Clem.
Wait, who are you?
I'm with the inspector.
How dare you?
You're with the inspector, right? Well, we don't get a lot of contact.
Oh, sting. Mojo.
Fugitive. Ran aground right here in our own backyard. Yeah? Sounds like a situation that needs some justice.
Oh no.
I keep waiting for my other senses to improve 50%.
Oh, buddy.
I should kick it any day now. No one will ever make me watch Dodge 3D again.
Yeah, and you'll never have to.
Oh my god.
Oh, well. Please don't.
Fuck. Oh, she should stop breaking my heart. I like that they're trying to find positives.
We're working on getting info on that guy. Why bother? Nothing works. Nothing will.
I mean, we don't know that. You met him once.
Right over there on that cot, immediately following some exciting and unexpected breakup sex. But I need to give him some space.
Whenever she starts talking about getting all sweaty with Xander like that, I just remind her I had him first. Shuts her right the hell up.
Thing is, what's the point?
I remember that.
Not so darn the luck, they went and canceled school, so looks like I got the time.
Free clown.
Good. You know, we can talk about this later, maybe. Okay. Yeah. I'll be right back.
She needs to focus, but I get she's concerned.
His church, his ring, his ability to render a Slayer.
It's not like he's alone in the hospital, you know?
I didn't.
Oh, the days when you just walk down these halls as a student. Or when you're being chased by a giant snake. Stop it.
Things don't go exactly your way, so here come the waterworks.
Nathan, please.
Near Xander again, and I will end you.
End him anyway. Unnecessary.
And they're gonna see the glory. Great things are happening.
She was like 2 seasons ago.
I'm gonna take such sweet pleasure in taming you.
Oh, Eve.
I'll see you soon, little lady.
Can't wait.
Please do not eat, but the box is empty now.
Oh.
Priorities.
Sounded like there was news.
Well, I have a mission for you.
Oh, really?
Because, you know, sometimes our missions end up with you trying to kill me. I'm not fond of those. This is bona fide.
Let's
Reactions.
put that aside.
Are we gonna get to the food stealing issue soon?
Take Andrew.
What?
Well, you are always saying you want to get out of the house more. In the meantime, the troops here got to sit and stew, feeling crappier by the minute.
They can train.
Keep them occupied.
Of course. I mean, I suppose letting loose isn't the worst thing in the world. One night off of just sitting about bitching.
Is this a mission from which you intend Spike to return alive?
Yes. I sent Andrew with him.
Again, I ask the question.
This woman is so cool.
Hey, how old are you?
They're going to get murdered when they're hungover tomorrow, aren't they? Uh-oh. Is that the guy from Angel? That officer? Him? He looks like Billy. Oh, calm down, fellas.
Best thing you can do is wait. Here.
How fun's your night out now? So why can't they do this with vampires and shit?
How safe were they when you dragged them off to meet Caleb? How safe was Rona or Amanda or Molly?
I mean, you both went there and scouted the place out. When's this spin-off happening
I
then?
didn't even cover.
Not as good as those onion blossom things.
Ooh, I love those.
Yeah, me too. Tell anyone we had this conversation, I'll bite you.
Right.
That was very wholesome.
Why didn't you fight back?
Other things matter more.
I think you're worried about her.
I think you need to brush up on your Buffy and Faith history.
You had a good friendship for a long time.
Maybe you got bigger issues than what's wrong with B. I read people too.
When's this spin-off gonna happen?
You have to pretend there's a big party here.
Should be fairly easy if you just say the balloons are outside.
We're going back in.
Oh heck.
Then tell me what happened.
I can't. Can't is a 4-letter word. Amanda, I'll be your backup this evening. You don't start singing my associate.
We're trying to fight him. Caleb. He revealed something even we didn't know was here. A secret room. He was excited, talking the whole time. Destiny, that's what.
Sounds like him.
Yeah, we hear is a real smooth talker.
He read it, and he didn't like what it said. His temper. He was the purest evil I've ever seen.
Oh.
He burned his mark upon me.
It is not for thee. It is for her alone to wield.
Oh.
The seal and the Hellmouth. Why isn't Caleb guarding them? Why doesn't he have someone there protecting it? Why is he camped out at the vineyard? The bad guys always go where the power is.
But I'm not going back in that place, not without proof. And neither should you, and neither should they.
Mustang.
I guess if they don't know for certain.
You know what? I am sick of your deal with the Spike guy. This isn't about.
Well, I'm sick of you, Rona.
With everything that's happening, I'm worried about your judgment.
If it was anyone but Xander as well, I think maybe. Oh my god! It's exactly what I feared would happen.
I really do.
Alright then, let's all just stay indoors and be safe. Oh wait, the first manipulator going to hanging herself.
But you didn't earn it.
Jesus.
You didn't
Well, then
work for
do a
it.
trial with someone
You
else
never
then.
had any, but Xander.
I'm trying to see your point here, Buff. But I guess it must be a little bit to my left.
Oh my god.
Look, I'm willing to talk strategy. I'm still in charge here.
And why is that exactly?
Because
Well, you lead everyone, Ronan, then die.
Maybe we need a vote to see who wants Faith
To have a turn in charge.
No.
Oh my god.
No what? No.
I mean, if it will shut you up,
I've had my chance to
give her a
hang
chance.
around, I know I'm right about this. I just need a little.
Faith.
I can't stay here and watch her lead you into some disaster.
I mean, we don't know that she would.
And you can't stay here.
It's her fucking house. You all fuck off then.
You can't be a part of it.
Well, then you will get a motel. Jesus.
So I need you to leave. I'm sorry.
So she was dead and they just live in her house, let her money run out, and then they kick her out of her own fucking house. I get them trying a different leader, fine. But kicking her out is bullshit.
Ding dong, the witch is.
Oh, you can get in a fucking grave, Rona.
Don't be afraid to lead them. Whether you wanted it or not,
Oh.
their lives are yours.
See, she's feeling the weight of it.
It's gonna get harder.
This isn't what I want them to be like when the show has 3 episodes left, you know? I can't get over. It's her house. Try something else, fine, but it's her bloody house. I'm furious. Okay, fantastic episode. I really bloody love this one. I mean, the ending's like... But, you know, people have reasons, for the most part, for that decision. I mean, I'm still basically Team Buffy on this. I feel like they treated her like absolute crap. Very disappointed in a lot of them. But it's not like they're entirely without reason. I'm like, well, there's just... How did they get to that conclusion? Like, very much disagree with them just kicking her out of the house. That was bullshit. It's like, oh, well, you know, can you, like, just stay in the basement or something while we train up here? Well, then they'd actually have to fucking train, wouldn't they? But we barely see them do that. And they bitch about it. But, oh, I'm salty, my friends. I'm salty. But yeah, regardless, I can see both sides of that. And I do agree that maybe changing up the leader for a bit, just to see how it goes, fine, let's do that. But, man. It just makes me angry. And, it's not even like the potentials as a whole were that bad, really, and I still don't mind them. I like the idea of the potentials, I think, more than I've liked the execution of them for the most part, and some of the characterization of them. But few individuals, like the very aptly named Rona, they can get in the bin, my god. But that was the end of the episode, so let's just save that for a bit. I really enjoyed how they were... Did I just break them? I think my brain just went... I really liked how they kind of started off exploring the overall impact on Sunnydale, with like the Hellmouth and everything kind of getting worse and worse, and people being influenced by it. So we saw like the police get influenced by it and become overly violent, and when they tried to track down Faith and got wind that she was back in town, you know, they really went to town on that. They really went and committed to the bit on that. And everyone was kind of leaving town, including Clem. So we've got a nice little scene with him. A little goodbye. I imagine that's like the last time we'll see him. It's just like a little farewell to, you know, a somewhat recurring character. He's been around for a little bit. Can't remember how long he's been around for. Like season 5-ish, 6-ish, I think he first appeared. So that was a nice little scene, just to kind of kick off the everyone's doubting Buffy arc, because even, you know, this guy we're not overly familiar with Clem, you know, he's been around, but it's not like a main character or anything. Even he was like, well, you know, if you survive, I'll come back. I mean, when you survive and when you beat this thing, you know, even he was having his doubts that Buffy can do this, which isn't going to help her self-esteem and her confidence, you know? Like, let's just have a positive attitude. I know things are bleak, but come on. But still, it was a nice kind of little scene with Clem at the start. I liked seeing him. Nice little kind of farewell, I would assume, for him. That they didn't need to do, but it's just that bit of detail that is nice, you know, and again getting the sense that things are really permanently wrapping up on the show. So I liked that kind of starting off and just exploring, you know, exactly how this is kind of influencing people all around. And honestly, like, they say that Hellmouth's bad, but what it's done is given everyone in Sunnydale common bloody sense to just leave. Like, let's just move away after all this death and destruction for God knows how long at this point. You know, it's actually allowed them to leave. So yeah, in a way, you know, it's not all bad. So I enjoyed seeing like the overall effects of like the Hellmouth and everything with that. And the first are still doing their thing with Caleb. Obviously we didn't get as much of him in this one, but he was still, you know, a very physical threat to Buffy. He kind of owned her quite easily in that little fight at the school. Then he was just spouting his nonsense again to the first for a bit. And we've got a bit of backstory as well through Spike and Andrew, which is a very unexpected but funny pairing that I very much enjoyed. They've been experimenting with that quite a bit, I think, probably because they know they may not have the chance to ever experiment again. But you know, the last episode we had Faith and Wood, which I thought, no, this episode we had Faith and Spike in the last episode, which is a really interesting dynamic that I really liked. And in this one we had Spike and Andrew paired for a bit, and then we had Faith and Wood in this one, which again I thought was another interesting thing, while sticking to like the old classic combos as well, because we've got like some lovely Willow and Xander stuff in this one. And of course, Willow made me cry, because when doesn't she? So yeah, I liked that kind of pairing, and through Spike and Andrew being one of those, we got a bit of backstory for Caleb, and saw something that he did not like and made him angry in this whole written prophecy kind of thing about it's for her alone or something, only she can use it, something like that. I'd assume it's talking about Buffy, and that's why he's kind of really fixated on Buffy. And is that relating to the first as well? Exactly what that's going to come to mean, I mean, we're going to find out fairly soon, because there's only 3 episodes of the show left. But I'm excited for that, and it was cool to see a bit of like that motivation in him. Still need to learn a bit, I think, of how the first might even contacted him in the first place, and how long he's kind of been doing that for. But we got a bit more kind of substance and backstory to his character, which I enjoyed. Even without having to actually see him on screen. So that was very well done. And it's Nathan Fillion, so I enjoy seeing him. And I already can't wait for him to die. I really hope he dies in a very satisfying way, because, man, that guy can talk. My goodness. So everything with that was cool. And the Spike and Andrew pairing, just them going off on their own little mission. I like that Giles kind of sent them off to do that. And it would have been interesting how the final scene would have played out if Spike was there. He still probably would have been outvoted by quite a lot, even if he took Buffy's side. I feel like he probably would have done. But I don't think, you know, this time Giles intentionally like got rid of Spike, you know, for any kind of reason, you know, vindictive reason like before. I feel like he just, you know, he's not Spike's biggest fan. He probably won't have out in the way. And if Andrew just shut up, he wouldn't have sent him with Spike either. But yeah, I liked them kind of going off together. Their little conversation about how they made like the onion things and just how casual that was. And then Spike was like, "You tell anyone that we had this conversation, I will bite you." That was very funny. It was a very interesting dynamic between the two of them. It felt very buddy cop kind of thing, like the hapless best friend, very much like Danger Mouse. Spike was Danger Mouse, and what was his friend's name in that show? Can't remember, but that's who Andrew was. That's what it felt like. And I loved it. I thought it was really funny. Andrew trying to play bad cop. I mean, no, Andrew. Like, good on you for trying, but more work needs to be done. But yeah, very fun pairing, and I like how they were used to get a bit of backstory for Caleb, and just to get them away from that setting. You know, it was kind of refreshing to just not see Andrew and Spike tied into everyone else's stories as much. I thought that was just kind of neat to see them bounce off different people. And because we're not going to get to see many more chances for the characters to do that, it was great to kind of get it in this one. So I liked everything with them. That was a lot of fun. I liked Anya trying to step up and like be a bit of a teacher for all the potentials near the start and everything with that. Then obviously we had the thing when she was like, "Oh, you think you're better than all of us, Buffy?" I think there is some truth to that, but I don't think Buffy like truly would like mean it and use that to make herself appear better. Like, she's the Slayer, guys. Like, yes, she is better, but I don't think she uses that against them, really. Maybe not consciously, anyway. So it's like two sides to Anya, isn't she? She's a tricky one, but we love her for it. But regardless, she had some funny moments at the start when she was giving like the little talk, and that she went off and gathered intel from other contacts. You know, she's bringing something to the party. She's bringing some use. So I enjoyed that, especially because she wasn't in the last episode. So it was good to see her again. And then Willow and Xander. Oh boy, that scene. I love that they were trying to find the positives in things and being like, oh, you know, I look cool with an eye patch, and I won't have to watch Jaws 3D again. You know, that felt very true to me, that they would like list all these reasons, and, you know, oh, this is what's good about it, this is the positives, but then Willow just broke down, and like Xander just begging her not to cry about it, and oh my god, like that just broke my heart, because those two have been friends for so long. It must have been awful for her to see him go through that. It's awful for him to have gone through that. I can't even imagine like losing your eye and having to deal with, you know, that's not something you can just repair or fix. You know, that's it now. It's gone forever. Which is why I don't entirely hold it against Xander, like the end when he kind of went against Buffy as well, despite the lovely speech he gave in the last episode, which I think he still truly believes. But he literally just lost part of his body he could never get back in a fight. So I don't necessarily hold that against Xander, because he's still going through that, and that's going to take a lot of getting over. So yeah, out of everyone who kind of turned on Buffy at the end, I feel like Xander's the one I'd be like, okay, yeah, fair enough. Again, I can see everyone's reasons for what they did at the end, for the most part. And I feel like the only reason Willow kind of went against Buffy as well was because it was Xander who got hurt, and because it's such a long time thing. But I feel like she'd forgotten that Buffy wouldn't have enjoyed that either. She's been friends with Xander for like 7 years at this point, you know. Very well, some potentials getting killed and all that, that's bad enough. And Xander even said in the last one, you know, she does feel those deaths, they mean something to her. We saw at the end when she kind of broke down in front of Faith and said, you know, their lives are yours now, you need to look after them, protect them. She does really care. It's just that she's getting all consumed in the fight and the battle, which is why I thought it was surprising that Wood kind of turned on her, because it was he was the one who was like saying, well, you need to go and test them. Now he's like, oh, you tested them, you went too far. Like, whose side are you on, buddy? Like, what do you want? So I thought that was confusing. But yeah, I feel like that was tough for Buffy to even see with, you know, with Xander there. What happened to him after everything they've been through together. That's not going to be an easy thing to do with either. That could bleed into one of the reasons she didn't want to stick around as well. She probably feels so guilty about that already, and everyone's just making it 1,000 times worse, putting it on her. It's tough. Like, I think Buffy could have conducted herself a bit better. Maybe she got a bit too all consumed in it. Like, maybe she should have given them like a day off or two at some point before now. So she even said to Faith, like, oh, I understand letting off some steam, I get that. But did they have to go to the Bronze and out in the open and everything? They could just have like a party in the back garden or something, surely. Or just had a party at the house, you know. I guess they just wanted to get out of that place and go somewhere different. But yeah, I don't think Buffy necessarily went about it in the perfect way, but she went about it in her way. So I can understand why she's like, well, it's always worked out up until now. You know, I've died twice and my plans have still worked out for the most part. And if you're not going to believe in yourself, who else are you going to believe in? You know, I think she needs to believe in herself, otherwise she's just going to fall apart completely. So to see everyone else kind of turn on her must have been really tough to deal with as well. But yeah, I agree with their... I don't necessarily agree, because I feel like Buffy can handle it. But just making those events like as a reason, oh, you know, we just put you in charge. Why are you suddenly in charge all the time? Why is it always up to you? Because she's the bloody Slayer. This is what she does. It's her destiny, for God's sake, people. Oh, you're just too reckless. I don't even know you and you're reckless. Like, what kind of contradictory fucking thing to say is that, Rona? You don't know her, but I know this about you. Which one is it then? Do you know or don't you? Rona. So yeah, sure, change out the leader for a bit. Let's give Faith a turn in the hot seat and see what she does. But, you know, when she was kind of the leader for a bit and decided they all should go out and party, they still ended up in a fight, and they weren't even fighting the big bad, the enemy. It was like a completely pointless fight made from the fact that Faith wasn't a particularly nice person a few years back and had to end up in jail, and then they came after her. So it's kind of like, you still ended up fighting people, and you were like really capable in that fight. Like, I know like Caleb was a bit more powerful and all that, so it was an easier fight for them. And that's probably what's confused them. You know, what if it had been Caleb and his goons and all that who had invaded that club and like tracked him down? They'd still been in exactly the same situation. More people would have died, and even if they stayed at home, when that happened, the first talk to that poor girl who then like to shut them up and get them out of her head hung herself. Like, you're not safe anywhere. Like, why are you blaming it all on Buffy? My goodness. I don't know. It's a mess, and I don't enjoy seeing the characters kind of split apart like this and all turn on each other when there's only 3 episodes after the show. Like, a lot of shows do that when it's like based around a team, and I don't enjoy it. It's not fun. We want to see them work together and be happy. At least I do. But I guess that's not how the Buffyverse ever really works, is it? To be fair. What should I expect? But maybe when it's the last season, I'll actually see the main characters get along and not kick Buffy out of her own fucking house, which is just rude. Anything else, like changing up the ideas, maybe switching it out a bit, trying something different. You know, they're not aware that this final battle must surely be imminent, because we as an audience know there's only 3 episodes of the show left. But the characters don't know that, so they're probably like, oh yeah, we can change things up and, you know, do a different kind of thing. We don't know when the first are exactly going to do the final stand thing, but we know it's going to be bloody soon because there's only 3 episodes left. So you can't necessarily, you know, hold that against them either. And, you know, Buffy I don't think has been the perfect leader, but who the hell is? But yeah, they're still very new to this. I'm sure they're afraid and they're scared and they're not super strong. They don't have all Buffy's strength and powers and everything. But isn't that more reason to actually listen to the person who is the longest living, like, Slayer? He's been the Slayer for the longest time and has, you know, died twice and came back. Pretty fucking cool of her, you know? Like, she knows what she's doing. And they're just thinking, oh yeah, let's just switch it up and talk to this Slayer who still ended up leading us into a fight anyway, and not even, in the grand scheme of things, the important fight. But she's cool. She's really cool and suave, which she is, granted, but it doesn't necessarily mean you should follow her. And even Faith herself was like, oh, I didn't want this to happen, you know, I'm not the leader here. Like, she wasn't like orchestrating it. I don't think it was very vindictive. And I think, you know, she meant what she said it to Buffy at the end. You know, I didn't want that for that to happen. That's not what I was trying to do. But it's, again, the Slayer being burdened with something that they didn't ask for. Now Faith is in charge as well. And Buffy didn't ask for everyone, you know. If anyone else had, you know, when it all just started with the potential showing up, someone else could have said, you know what, can I lead this one? You know, I didn't see Anya stepping up and saying, oh, maybe I should be in charge of this. Can I have a go? No one else. So Buffy kind of had to, because everyone looked up to her. Then when she fails, they're like, well, you never should have been in charge in the first place. Well, none of you other fuckers did anything about it, did you? No. You just stay in her house, and when she's dead, like, you use up all her money, and then be like, oh, Buffy, we brought you back from the dead. We did that. And then, oh, by the way, all your money's gone, so you should probably go and get the job, even though we didn't get any jobs while we've been living in your house. Then they kick her out of the bloody thing. I hope the debt collectors come knock in and kick you all out, you fuckers. Like, that was just... the audacity. The audacity. Like, all of them. And I'm including Willow in that, and that pains me. Like, man. Anyway, I am a Buffy stan, as you've probably gathered from this. Like, yeah. I hope I've got my point across. I've just turned into a huge rant. This went exactly the way I feared it was. To be fair, it wasn't as bad and as frustrating as I thought it might have been if I like pitched it in my head, everyone turning on her. because they do, to an extent, have their reasons. I think they're bullshit reasons, but they are reasons. I'm just so mad on Buffy's behalf. But also, she can handle herself and she'll be fine. Like, I guess she'll just stay in a Premier Inn or something. Is Premier Inn just a UK thing? Did I make a really rubbish reference that a lot of people aren't going to get? I don't know. But, like a motel, whatever. Yeah, that was quite something. But regardless, I'm intrigued to see what Faith might do now that she's kind of top dog and what approach she might take to things. Because I will also say, Buffy being like, oh yeah, let's go back in, and like no evidence that she has like that is exactly where it is. Like she has a theory. I've got a theory, but I do agree like that's probably too soon to just rush back into that place. So I agree with everyone being like, and that's the moment where it's like, oh, let's rethink that. But just being like, well, that's the final straw. I can't believe you've done this. Like, it's just disappointing to see that happen, you know. And again, I can give Xander a pass because he's just gone through a bloody awful thing. But I found that really disappointing for Giles to do that and for Willow to do that. I mean, Anya's done that on and off for her entire run on the show, so that's just who Anya is. So you can't really hold that against her. And I thought, did it make sense for him to do it? I don't know. Maybe his conversation with Faith kind of turned things around because he clearly took a shining to her. And I also really liked that scene with those two because Faith shows that, well, the fact that they could both like read people and read each other really well. And Faith didn't take things further before when Buffy punched her and everything, because she actually does care about Buffy and her well-being and stuff. And you can see she's trying to make the effort to, you know, build those bridges back after season 3 and 4 of Buffy. And Wood kind of picked up on that. Obviously, Faith's going to deny it because I don't think she's very soppy and sentimental like that. But I think it's clear that she has changed so much. That being said, when they had the fight outside the Bronze and she brought up all the people, or like the potentials who died in that battle, I thought that was uncalled for by Faith, to be honest. I love her, but, you know, a lot of the people I love disappointed me in this episode. But at the same time, it's weird because I understand it to an extent, to a point. I can see where they're coming from, because again, I think Buffy's plan was probably not the best idea and she hasn't been the perfect leader, but I'm still feeling like the positives are outweighing the negatives. You're not all fucking dead, are you? So Buffy must be doing something right to an extent. And like even Dawn like turning on her. Like, no, you didn't tell me how Xander was. I own a phone. I could phone Xander myself. But Buffy didn't tell me how Xander was, so now I'm going to turn on her. Okay, Dawn, you do you. But, fine. Yeah, it's just... It's a lot. I feel like these afterthoughts are absolute nonsense, because I'm just so frustrated and angry at them kicking Buffy out of the house. That's the one thing I absolutely think is dead wrong of them, to kick her out of her own bloody house. Just go somewhere else. Go to Xander's place or something, I don't know. Like, you're all living there, probably rent-free, then you kick her out of the bloody place. Hope you're paying rent now, fuckers. Anyway, is that everything I need to talk about? I feel like I've kind of woven in all the character stuff that I wanted to mention into that, because I feel like the whole episode was just building up to that final scene. It certainly changed the status quo, I will give it that, and I'm excited. And overall, you know, I thought this was a phenomenal episode, don't get me wrong. This might be one of my favourite episodes of the season. Because it's not like completely unwarranted what they did for the most part. And I know there will be people in the comments who like come to the defence of the other side, and people who's, you know, I've already seen a few people, you know, say they don't like Buffy this season and they think she's completely wrong in all her actions this season, which is fair enough. I think there are arguments for all the sides. But I think while she was probably about to make a wrong decision that I didn't agree with, I don't think that is reason enough to kick her out of her own home. Like, change up the leader, fine, but... So yes, I'm hoping Rona is beheaded very slowly in future episodes. Frustrating and disappointing, some of the actions of people in this one, but I also get it. So that makes it worse, the fact that I can actually understand where they're coming from for a lot of their arguments. But yeah, I kind of sense this was coming based on the last episode, people losing faith. It's just losing faith. We haven't lost faith, we just got her back. That was also a great moment, actually. Really funny moment where she was like, Buffy was like, "Oh, I just need you to just have a little." Then she looked at Faith and she couldn't finish the sentence. That was fantastic. I love that. Great bit of writing and staging. But yeah, just raising the stakes a bit more, getting a bit more backstory with Caleb. I loved a lot of the pairings of characters in this episode. Just came down to something I'm disappointed in seeing when there's only 3 episodes of the show left. It's not kind of what I want. But again, it's not about what I want, because I am merely a humble viewer who is watching this 20 years after it aired. So what the fuck what the fuck can I say about it? But yeah, fantastic episode overall. Very frustrating, but it does change things up a lot going into the final 3 episodes. So I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes. And yeah, I think you can just about justify everyone's actions. So I'm kind of okay with it. From a plotting and writing point of view. So I do think overall this episode was really, really funny. Very dramatic, very sad. Like that scene with Willow and Xander in the hospital broke my little heart. Alison is just so good. Oh man, I can't even tell you how much I'm going to miss Willow though. As disappointed as I was with her in this one, like, mwah, Alison, yeah. And yeah, some good stuff overall. Yeah, I just feel like I've talked absolute nonsense for God knows how long. Like I've only got half my camera battery left, so that means I've probably been talking for too long. So I will leave it there. But overall, shockingly, a fantastic episode. I really, really loved it. I think this might be one of my favourites of the season. Really raising the stakes, like the bit with Clem at the start. Some lovely character moments like Willow and Xander. Some not so great character moments with literally everyone. But again, they are justified to an extent. The Spike and Andrew pairing was a lot of fun, and how that brought some backstory about Caleb into it. So that was interesting to see where that prophecy kind of thing goes that they found out about. And yeah, just looking forward to seeing where they're going to take things next. Now that Buffy is booted out. Yeah. Guess we'll find out. Hopefully they'll realise they were wrong and bring Buffy back into things. But maybe they're right. You know, maybe this is going to be a lesson for Buffy's character. She's going to be like, you know what? I did go about this the wrong way. I'll know better for next time. And if that's how it goes, that's how it goes, because that would also make sense as a storyline. So could go either way, and I'm looking forward to seeing which route they take. But yeah, that's going to be everything for this cycle of reactions. I believe we are all Angel for the next cycle. I think now we are finishing Angel season 4, and then we finish Angel, and then we finish Buffy season 7. So we've got 4 episodes of Angel now, and then we finish off Buffy. So don't come for me in the comments. It's the watch order. I'm sorry you're not getting Buffy for a little bit. It's just how it goes sometimes with this watch order. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what they do next with that anyway. And yeah, fantastic episode. Bloody loved it. Looking forward for more. And until my next reaction, thanks for watching. Die in a hole, Rona.